Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another video today. My name is Chris, and today we're going to be taking a look at the map of the non-liquidating Sears and Kmart stores. Yes, this map has been updated as of Tuesday, July 13th, 2021. So with the closure of the Kmart store in Astor Place in the East Village of Manhattan in New York City, New York, we are now down to 17 Kmart stores and 26 Sears and Roebuck stores. Combine both numbers together and you get approximately 43 non-liquidating Sears and Kmart stores. Now, before we go over the map and go location by location by location by location and by location, we're first going to go over the list of the non-liquidating and the current liquidating Sears and Kmart stores, as well as the one that permanently closed on Sunday, July 11th, 2021, with its pharmacy closing on Saturday, July 17th, 2021. So here's the map. Here's the list of the non-liquidating Sears and Kmart stores, and that should not say Monday. It should say Tuesday. So sorry about that, guys. As of July 13th, 2021. So we have a total of 17 Kmart stores. That's right, 17 Kmart stores, not counting the Kmart department in Brooklyn. Kmart, 17 freestanding Kmart stores, and 26 Sears and Roebuck stores. And when you combine both numbers together, you get approximately 43 non-liquidating Sears and Kmart stores. And yes, I know Fort Lauderdale was announced that it was going to close. However, the official confirmation is not out yet, or they're waiting a week to start liquidation. But it definitely is closing, so you guys will definitely want to stay tuned for another update to the map of the non-liquidating Sears and Kmart stores. But in the meantime, this is the video that will be most up to date. So if there's another non-liquidating Sears and Kmart video that I have to make, I will be making it. But right now, this is the latest one. So you guys will definitely want to stay tuned if there's a new one coming out down the road. But in the meantime, let's go over the list of the non-liquidating Sears and Kmart stores. So First off, we have the Kmart store, which is freestanding in Guam, Micronesia. It's one of the United States territories in Micronesia that's out in the Pacific Ocean. We have the McKnight Crossing Shopping Center in Grass Valley, California. That's the only Kmart, by the way, left in California. The same can be said for Guam. The Kmart store at the Key Plaza Shopping Center in Key West, Florida, is the last Kmart store in the Key region of Florida. The Kendall Lakes Plaza Shopping Center Kmart in Miami, Florida, is the last Kmart store in mainland Florida. And the Kmart store at the Marshall Plaza Shopping Center in Marshall, Michigan is the last Kmart store in Marshall, Michigan. I'm sorry, the last Kmart store, rather, within the state of Michigan. The Kmart store at the Bitterroot Valley Shopping Center in Hamilton, Montana is the last Kmart store in the state of Montana. The Kmart store at the Delco Plaza Shopping Center in Aveno, New Jersey, which is located in Middlesex County, just north of the Woodbridge Center Mall, is the only Kmart within the state of New Jersey to operate 7 days a week. As a matter of fact, today is Sunday, so it is the only Kmart within the state of New Jersey to operate on Sundays. Meanwhile, the Kmart store at the Westwood Plaza Shopping Center in Westwood, New Jersey is required to be closed, and that's located in Bergen County, New Jersey. That Kmart at the Westwood Plaza Shopping Center in Westwood, New Jersey is required to be closed on Sundays because of the Bergen County Blue Laws that prevents this retailer and all other non-essential retailers from operating on Sundays. The Kmart store at the Bridgehampton Common Shopping Center in Bridgehampton, New York is the last Kmart store on Long Island. The Kmart store at the Shops at Buccaneer in the Bronx, New York is the last multi-level Kmart store in the United States of America, as the Kmart in Astor Place is now closed. So the Shops at Buccaneer Kmart, which is that two-level one in the Bronx with the Little Caesars, the pizza, is the last two-level Kmart store within the United States of America. The Kmart store at the Big Plaza Shopping Center in the Bronx, New York, that's also in the Bronx as well, is the last one-level Kmart store that is freestanding and not connected to a Sears store within a New York City borough. The Kmart store at the Crossroads Shopping Center in White Plains, New York, is the last Kmart store in Westchester County, as well as being the last Kmart store in the Hudson Valley region of New York State. And we get to our last four, which are basically not within the main continental United States. Well, we have the Kmart store at Plaza Las Americas Shopping Center in Hato Puerto Rico, is the last Kmart store in Puerto Rico. There are two Kmarts currently in the U.S. Virgin Islands. One of them is at Sunshine Mall in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, and also the Sunny Isle Shopping Center, which is located in St. Croix, or St. Croix rather. So Sunshine Mall in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, and Sunny Isle Shopping Center located in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. The other two that are located in the U.S. Virgin Islands that are Kmart stores are the Tutu Park Mall in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Lockhart Garden Shopping Center, which is also on or in St. Thomas, United States, Virgin Islands. So that is 17 Kmart stores that are not liquidating still remain. So we get to Sears, and there's definitely a contrast of difference and certainly significance, of course. So and we'll get to that at the end. So there's definitely more of there's definitely more of a significance for Sears' presence in California versus Kmart, which is only down to one because the two out of the three Kmarts in California are currently liquidating. So we have the Sears, and these are all Sears and Roebuck stores, but I'm just going to call them Sears for short, but they are all Sears and Roebuck stores. Sears and Roebuck stores, sorry. So we have the Sears store at the Burbank Town Center in Burbank, California, the Sears store at the Sun Valley Shopping Center in Concord, California, the Sears store at Stonywood Center in Downey, California, the Sears store at Hastings Ranch Plaza in Pasadena, California, the Sears store at Webster Town Mall in Stockton, California, the Sears store at the Whitwood Town Center in the Sears store at the Whitwood Town Center in Whitwood, California. So that's 6. So that's that's a total of 6 non-liquidating Sears stores within the state of California. Now in Florida, there are still 4. However, Fort Lauderdale is rumored to close. Again, I don't know when they're going to start liquidation, but the store is indeed going to close on the 26th of September. They may have very well delayed liquidation by a month, but for the purpose and the sake of this video, I will be including it in this video. Otherwise, I would not if there was official confirmation. But for the time being, until we have the official confirmation from the store that they're closing, I will be including it in this non-liquidating Sears and Kmart video. So we have the Sears Town Plaza in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the freestanding store in Miami, Florida, which Fort Lauderdale and Miami are the last 2 freestanding Sears stores in Florida. And of course, in the state of Florida, we have the Florida Mall Sears in Orlando, Florida, which is near Walt Disney World and Universal Studios Florida and Universal's Islands of Adventure and SeaWorld and all those other vacation destinations. And we have the Sears store at the Gardens Mall, which is in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So Florida has a total of 4 Sears stores left that are currently not liquidating. In the state of Hawaii, we have the Queen Amuhu Center in Kauai, Hawaii, and then in Illinois, which is where Hoffman Estates headquarters is, we have the Sears store at the Woodfield Mall in Schaumburg, Illinois, and that is the last Sears store in Illinois. The same can be also said for the Sears in the previous location that I just mentioned for Sears in the state of Hawaii. We also have the Sears store at the South Shore Plaza in Braintree, Massachusetts, and that's the last Sears store and last Transform Co-owned property in the New England region of the United States, and as well as being the last Sears store within the state of Massachusetts. The Sears store at the Francis Scott Key Mall in Frederick, Maryland is the last Sears store within the state of Maryland. The Sears store at the Newport Center Mall in Jersey City, New Jersey is the last Sears store within the state of New Jersey. And then we get to New York, and when we get to New York State, we have currently 3 Sears stores left in Brooklyn. Am I missing one? Oh no, I don't think I'm missing one, because I think there's only 3 Sears stores left in New York City. So we have the Sears store, which is freestanding in Brooklyn, New York, that has a Kmart department. It's not a physical Kmart itself, but it does have a Kmart department within inside the Sears store. And that's the last Sears store within the New York City borough. The Sears at Sunrise Mall in Wyham, Massapequa, New York is the last Sears store on Long Island. The Sears store at the Newburgh, and finally the Sears in New York State, rather. The Sears store at the Newburgh Mall in Newburgh, New York is the last Sears store within the Hudson Valley region of New York State. We get down to North Carolina. We have the Sears store at the Friendly Center in Greensboro, North Carolina, and the Sears store at the Triangle Town Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I just have to eliminate this. There we go. Okay, so let's get to the rest of the stores here. So we have in Pennsylvania with the announcement of media closing. We only have 2 Sears stores that are currently not liquidating in the state of Pennsylvania, which include the Sears store at the Colonial Park Mall in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and the Sears store at the Willow Grove Park Mall in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. It's also within a township because that's how Pennsylvania does it. In Puerto Rico, the last Sears store in Puerto Rico is at the Plaza Las Americas Mall in San Juan, Puerto Rico. In the state of Texas, the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas is the last Sears store within the state of Texas. The Sears store at the Westfield South Center in Tuckapee, Washington is the last Sears store in the state of Washington, and the last Sears store at a Westfield-owned mall, which used to be also Westfield Sunrise too, but Sunrise did get sold. Hence, by default, makes Westfield South Center located in Tuckapee, Washington, the last Sears store at a Westfield mall, and the last Sears store in the Seattle metropolitan area. And finally, we have the Sears store at the Valley Mall in Union Gap, Washington. So, with going over all of the non-liquidating Sears and Kmart stores, we can now move to the list that began liquidation sales as of Saturday, July 19th, 2021, and they will be concluding liquidation sales on Sunday, August 22nd, 2021. And the locations are as follows: the Kmart store in Freedom at the Freedom Center in Freedom, California, and the Kmart store at the Southwide Shopping Center in South Lake Tahoe, California. The Sears stores, in particular. And before we move on to that, I completely forgot to put this here. Before we move on to the 2 Sears stores that are currently not liquidating, let's go over. So anyways, getting back to Kmart. So the Kmart store in Freedom, California, at the Freedom Center in Freedom, California, and the Kmart store at the Southwide Shopping Center in South Lake Tahoe, California, started liquidation on Thursday, June 17th, 2021, and will be closing by Sunday, August 22nd, 2021. Meanwhile, the Kmart store that was located in Astor Place in New York City, New York, which I have to add here. Sorry about that, guys. I don't mean to type during a video. Okay, so yeah, getting back to Astor Place. So what happened with Astor Place was that the Kmart location unfortunately was forced to close by Sunday, July 17th, 2021, due to the spot being now replaced with a supermarket store. So that's the story behind that. So that Kmart store is now permanently closed, unfortunately. Basically now what they're doing with that Kmart store in Astor Place, East Village, Manhattan, New York City, New York, is they are actually boxing up merchandise and moving it to other Kmart stores within the New York City metropolitan area. But meanwhile, the Kmart store in Freedom, California, and the Kmart store at the Southwide Shopping Center in South Lake Tahoe, California, are slated to close by next month, which is August of 2021. So, anyways, as we move on to the Sears stores that are liquidating, we have the Sears at the Westland Shopping Center in Westland, Michigan, and the Sears at the Promenade at Granite Run in Media, Pennsylvania. Both of those Sears stores will be closing between Sunday, August 15th, 2021, and Sunday, August 22nd, 2021. So that's where we are with liquidating stores. So it's right now a total of 5 that will be closing within the next 2 months, with one of them already shutting down due to the lease being terminated very early on. They had a very quick liquidation sale, and now at this point they're just boxing up merchandise inside that building and shipping it off to other Kmart stores. So anyways, now that we've gone over the list of the non-liquidating Sears and Kmart stores as of Tuesday, and liquidating, of course, too, and permanently closed as of Tuesday, July 13th, 2021, we are now going to go ahead and use the map to go over location by location by location by location. I just have to get what's it called? I just have to get the move over to the other tab. All right, so we're going to go from west to east, and then we will end the video. So anyways, as we move along, first we get to the United States territory of Guam, and we hit that Kmart store. This is Micronesia, by the way. This is actually pretty close to the Antonio B. Juan Airport. So this is the Kmart store in Guam. And again, this is at 404 North Marine Drive in Taoming, in Taoming, Guam, which I might have to add an update to that. But yeah, this is the only Kmart store left in Guam, and it's actually now the most profitable one, given that the Kmart store in Astor Place is permanently closed. This is a very far Kmart store. It's a very long flight too. Probably would not fly to this one. Especially from where I am on the East Coast, it's definitely not worth flying all the way to Guam for that. So, but anyways, as we move along east to the islands of Hawaii before we hit the United States of America, we have the Sears and Roebuck store at the what's it called? The Queen Amahu Center in Kalahui, Hawaii. This is, by the way, the last Sears store within the states of Hawaii. So, be very sad to see this Sears store close, but it definitely would not surprise me if Sears or if Transform Co. does choose to close the store. So, we're going to start out in the state of Washington, and the first Sears store that we're going to hit is within the Seattle metropolitan area, at the Westfield South Center Mall in Tuckalawi, Washington. It looks like this Sears store did receive a renovation, although I hear that it's not too much greatness in Sears. Any Sears basically at this point is unfortunately, down the spiral. But it's sad to hear that Tuckalawi, Washington is going downhill, which is definitely not a good sign, and we know that the company's over. But yes, this is the last Sears store located in the Seattle metropolitan area, and the last Sears store located at a Westfield property, which is actually very interesting. So as we move along down Washington State, the next Sears store that we're going to hit is the Sears store in Union Gap, Washington. This is at the Valley Mall in Union Gap, Washington, and I think it's going to be more likely that the Sears in Valley Mall is going to close before Tuckalawi, Washington State, just given that the renovations that Tuckalawi has gotten versus the Union Gap Washington State Sears has. And we'll take a quick hop and a skip and a boat over to the state of Montana, and we will hit the Kmart store, which is located in Hamilton, Montana, at the Bitterroot Valley Shopping Center in Hamilton, Montana. And this is a pretty unique Kmart. This is, again, at the Bitterroot Valley Shopping Center in Hamilton, Montana. It is the last Kmart store with a vintage logo, so once this store does close, there will be no more Kmart stores with the vintage logo on the exterior of the front-facing facade. So it'll be really sad to see the Hamilton, Montana Kmart closing. So as we move along down the Pacific coast of the United States, the next store that we're going to hit is the Kmart store in Grass Valley, California. And given that South Lake Tahoe, California and Freedom, California are liquidating, this officially marks the Kmart store in Grass Valley, California as the last Kmart store within the state of California. So very sad too. Again, this is at the McKnight Crossing Shopping Center in Grass Valley, California. So again, it's a real shame to see this Kmart. It's a real shame that only one Kmart does remain in the state, given that South Lake Tahoe, the Southwide Shopping Center, and the Freedom Center in Freedom, California Kmart, both Kmarts closing Sunday, August 22nd, 2021. And as we move along, we hit Sacramento, and just between Sacramento and San Francisco, California, and as well as San Jose, California, we're going to hit the Sears store at the Sun Valley Shopping Center in Concord, California. Again, this is one of 6 Sears stores that do remain in the state of California. So pretty unique that there's 6 left within the state of California. But I'm sure the number is not going to last for much longer. I'm sure they're going to definitely close some more Sears stores within the state of California down the road. But yes, Sears in Concord, California is one of 6 Sears and Roebuck stores left in the state of California, so that's number 1. The second Sears store within the state of California is actually in Stockton, California, and that Sears store is located at the Webstertown Mall in Stockton, California, which is right across the street from the Sherwood Mall Shopping Center, which is also in Stockton, California. So 2 malls basically literally built right across the street from each other, which to me is very interesting. They could have just connected it and made it one big mega mall, but there's probably not money or investment in this area of California, so that's probably why they did it. But so yeah, the Sears in Stockton, California, and the Sears in Concord, California, are the last 2 Sears stores are in that greater San Francisco, San Jose, and Sacramento area, with the Kmart store in Grass Valley, California, using the same purpose, being that last one in this greater area. So once the Kmart in Grass Valley, California closes, there will be no more Kmart stores within the state of California, which will be a real shame to see that go. So anyway, so again, Stockton, California, Webstertown Mall, and the other one in Concord, California, at the Sun Valley Shopping Center. So as we move along down the Pacific Coast, the next major city we hit is Los Angeles, California, and you guessed it, this is the largest city to have 4 Sears stores. So the next Sears store that we're going to hit after going in the San Francisco area is the Sears store at the Burbank Town Center in Burbank, California. This is an older Sears. Again, this is one of 6 left. I'm not sure if this store is going to close or not, but given the signage, it could be one of the next ones to go down the road. It would be a real shame to see the Sears store go, but right now it is still one of 6 that do remain within the state of California. So that is a good thing for now, at least. And as we move a little bit east of the Los Angeles area, the next Sears store that we're going to hit is the Sears store at the Hastings Ranch Plaza in Pasadena, California. And I believe this is one of the last freestanding, this looks like a 3-level Sears store. It could be a 2-level, but it's a freestanding Sears store. And again, it's located at the Hastings Ranch Plaza in Pasadena, California. So, anyways, the next Sears store that we're going to hit, which is also in the greater Los Angeles area, we go a little bit south of Los Angeles, is the Sears store, which is located at the Stonewood Center in Downey, California, and this mall comprises of a Macy's, a JCPenney, a Kohl's, and a Sears. The same thing that Newport Center in Jersey City, New Jersey has, except there's no parking decks here. That's the only key difference between those 2 shopping centers. Also, it's not that close to New York City. I mean, it's not that close to a major city either. I mean, it is, I guess, technically speaking, but there's more room to spread out here in California versus in my home state of New Jersey. But yeah, again, this is the Sears store at the Downey Town Center the Stonewood Town Center in Downey, California. And finally, the last Sears store that used to be in a mall is located at the Whitwood Town Center in Whittier, California. Again, this used to be a mall at one point, and you could basically tell, and they just made it into a town center with a Target, a PetSmart, a Kohl's, and a bunch of other stores, to name a few. So, very smart that they did this, by the way, but this Sears store might very well close down the road if Sears decides to pull out of the Whittier Town Center. But it would be really sad if they did, because that would mean there would be only 3 Sears stores left in the greater Los Angeles area. But you know what? At this point, anything is possible. So as we move along a little bit, the next major Sears store that we're going to hit is the Sears store at the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas. And by the way, this is the last Sears store within the state of Texas, and given the only reason that this store is still around is because of Sears Mexico, because Sears Mexico does really well, and they figure, you know what, let's keep Cielo Vista Sears for as long as we can, but I don't see this Sears store lasting for much longer. They will probably eventually close the Sears store in El Paso, Texas too, but they might hold on to it given that it is near the Texas-Mexico border. I'm sorry, the United States-Mexico border, and Sears Mexico does relatively well, speaking. So it would make sense to keep this Sears store maybe till the very end. Who knows? Sears at the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas, could very well be one of the next ones to close. So. Okay, so our next point of origin will be down to Florida, and then we're going to, actually no, let's go here first so that we can work our way up the East Coast. So the next Sears store we're going to hit is the Sears store at the Woodfield Mall in Schaumburg, Illinois. Like I said about the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas Sears, that's the last one in the state of Texas. And the Sears store at the Woodfield Mall in Schaumburg, Illinois, is the last Sears store within the state of Illinois. And it's also the closest Sears store to HQ, Sears Hoffman Estates HQ. So sometimes corporate will send some stuff from HQ to be liquidated at the Sears store in Schaumburg, Illinois, hence why they actually keep this store open, and they've actually poured money into the Sears store at Schaumburg, Illinois at the Woodfield Mall. So we'll move along here. So this is Michigan right now, and given the closure of the Sears in Westland, Michigan at the Westland Town Center, the Marshall, Michigan Kmart by default is the last Transform Co. owned property and the last Kmart store within the state of Michigan. This Kmart did have a Little Caesars Pizza, but the Little Caesars, with the guy that says Pizza, is now here, so they don't need to have a Little Caesars inside the Kmart, given that the Little Caesars Pizza is literally maybe a minute east of the Kmart store in Marshall, Michigan. So again, this is the last Kmart store in Marshall, Michigan, and I believe this is the last Kmart store to have the big Kmart logo on the inside and as well on the outside of the front-facing facade of this Kmart store. I'm sorry, of this Kmart store in particular. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go down the coast before we go up the East Coast, because there's a lot of Sears and Kmarts to hit. So I want to make sure we go all the way down here first, and then we'll work our way up the East Coast of the United States. So first we're going to start off with these Kmarts, which are, I'm not sure exactly which U.S. Virgin Island this is. Okay, this is St. Croix Virgin Islands. So this Kmart is at the, I don't have it off the top of my head. That Kmart that we're taking a look at right now, that is the Kmart store located at the Sunshine Mall in St. Croix Virgin Islands. And this Kmart also has a Little Caesars too, the pizza guy. So that's kind of cool. Again, this Kmart is located at the, sorry about that, guys. Give me 1 second here. That's the Kmart store that's located at the Sunshine Mall in St. Croix, United States, Virgin Islands. And then as we go a little bit east on the St. Croix Virgin Islands of the United States, we will hit this other Kmart store. And this Kmart store is located inside the Sunny Isle Shopping Center. So, and this Kmart does not have a Little Caesars, but the other one at the Sunshine Mall, that one does have a Little Caesars pizza restaurant. So, anyways, so those are the two Kmart stores on the St. Croix United States Virgin Islands territory, and now we will go north to the other United States Virgin Islands, which is the St. Thomas Virgin Islands of the United States. So the first Kmart that we're going to hit is this Kmart here, just outside of the port, and this is the Kmart store at the Lockhart Garden Shopping Center in the St. Thomas Virgin Islands. Again, this is one of two Kmarts that do remain one of two Kmarts on the St. Thomas Virgin Islands. So, anyways, as we move along east of the St. Thomas Virgin Islands, we hit the other Kmart store. And this Kmart store is at the Tutu Park Mall in St. Thomas Virgin Islands, and this is the only Kmart on the Virgin Islands to also have a Little Caesars restaurant, the pizza guy. This also has a Little Caesars, and this is at the Tutu Park Mall in the St. Thomas, United States Virgin Islands. So, as we move along with our little map here, the next territory that we're going to hit is Puerto Rico, which is You don't need to have a United States passport to get in, but it is, for the time being, it is its own country. I know they're trying to do something, but I'd rather not get into that discussion. We're really just here to talk about Sears and Kmart stores. So these are both a Sears and Kmart store. Literally, I mean, this is pretty rare to see nowadays. Literally, a Kmart and a Sears store, literally located right across the street from each other in Puerto Rico. And by the way, these are the last two Kmart and Sears stores within the Puerto Rico country, which is part of the United States, somewhat. But I'd rather not get into discussion about that. So this is the Kmart store at the, I'm sorry, give me 1 second, guys. So this Kmart store is located at Plaza Las Americas Shopping Center in Hato, Puerto Rico, and the Sears store is located at Plaza Las Americas Mall in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And the same can be said for the Kmart, which is located in Hato, San Juan, Puerto Rico, at the Plaza Las Americas Shopping Center. So this is the single Kmart and the single Sears left in Puerto Rico, which has a lot of United States businesses, by the way. Okay, so moving along, we will next hit, there's Turquoise Islands. So we have a bunch of islands out here, and we're just getting back up to Florida now. So this is the last Kmart store in Key West, with Marathon and Key Largo closing. The Kmart store in Key West, Florida. This is the last Kmart store within the territory, I'm sorry, not the territory, rather, in the Key West region of Florida. And that Kmart in Key West, Florida, is located at the Key Plaza Shopping Center in Key West, Florida. And then, of course, as we move to the mainland of Florida, outside of the Florida Keys, we will hit the Kmart store, which is located in Miami, Florida, and that is located, that particular Kmart store, at the Kendall Lakes Plaza Shopping Center in Key West, Florida. And this Kmart store is the last Kmart store on the mainland or within the states, not within the state of Florida, but on the mainland of Florida that's not out on an actual island. So as we move along here, we will next hit the Sears store literally just outside of Miami, and this is a freestanding Sears store, and this is a 2-level Sears store, or 3-level, 2-level probably. This Sears store is located in Miami, Florida. So as we move up the coast of Florida, the next Sears store that we're going to hit is the Fort Lauderdale one at the Sears Town Plaza in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, yes, I know this store is rumored to close, and September 26th is supposed to be the final day of this store. But like I said, for the sake of this video and for the time being, until we get final confirmation that the store is going to close, I will be putting it in here, since there is no confirmation yet. Or official confirmation, rather. Like, I know I did say the store is closing, and I am keeping the video up for the time being, but the store is going to close. We just have to wait for a job posting that is probably going to come out at some point this week, and I probably will have to end up making another video for this. But for the sake of this video and for the time being, the Sears in Fort Lauderdale, Florida is not yet liquidating. That is subject to change within the next couple of days, and I will keep you guys updated on that, so stay tuned. But again, for the sake of this video, the Sears store in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as of Tuesday, July 13th, 2021, when this map was updated, is not closing as of right now. But I believe it is going to close. We should be seeing confirmation hopefully by the end of this week, and if there's more Sears stores, I will make an update video following this one. So, anyways, let's move along to our next Sears store in the state of Florida as we go up the coast of Florida. The next Sears store that we're going to hit is the Sears store at the Palm Beach Gardens Mall in Palm Beach, Florida, I believe. Let me double check that one. Oh no, I'm sorry, the Gardens Mall. But anyways, so the Sears store at the Palm Beach Gardens Mall in Palm Beach, Florida. This is again located at the Gardens Mall in Palm Beach, Florida. So here it is. This is one of the 2 remaining Sears stores left within the state of Florida. So anyways, so yeah, that's the Sears store at the Palm Beach Gardens Mall in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, I believe. If I didn't get that correct, hopefully I got that correct. I'm sorry, guys. I'm literally just double checking. Yes, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Okay. All right, cool. And the last Sears store within the state of Florida that to be connected to a mall aside from the one in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, is the Sears store at the Florida Mall in Orlando, Florida. This is the last Sears store within the greater Orlando metropolitan area. So. Anyways, so now we're going to go ahead and move up the east coast of the United States, and the next state that we're going to hit is the two Sears stores in North Carolina, and this Sears store is located in Greensboro, North Carolina, and this is a freestanding Sears. This is at a Sears Town Plaza as well. That's the official name of where this is. So it's one of two remaining left, or two rather, with Fort Lauderdale and Greensboro, North Carolina, which is also at a Sears Town Plaza type of shopping center. So anyways, so that's one of two Sears stores left in the state of North Carolina. The other Sears store that still remains in the state of North Carolina is at the Triangle Town Center in Raleigh, or in the greater Raleigh, North Carolina area. And again, this is a basic late 90s Sears store, so really nothing special here, just a basic 90s one. Nothing too exciting to see for that Sears store. So, but again, this Sears store in Raleigh is significant because it's one of two Sears stores remaining within the state of North Carolina. It's incredible that there are still two Sears stores that are not liquidating within the state of North Carolina. No more Sears stores in Virginia, so the next Sears store that we're going to hit is the Sears store at the Francis Scott Key Mall in Frederick, Maryland. And by the way, this is the last Transform Co. owned property in the state of Maryland, as well as being the last Sears store as well within the state of Maryland. And as we move along, we next are going to hit the Sears store at the Colonial Park Mall in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. This is in the greater Harrisburg area. This is the last Sears store within the greater Harrisburg area, and basically the last Sears store outside of Philadelphia that's not liquidating. This is definitely significant. This is at the Colonial Park Mall in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It is a one-level Sears store. Pennsylvania no longer has any two-level Sears stores, given the closure of Media, Pennsylvania. That was the last multi-level Sears store to close, unfortunately. So Sears, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and then there's another one too that's not liquidating in the state of Pennsylvania. But again, the Sears in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is considered the last non-liquidating Sears store outside of the Delaware Valley, Philadelphia metropolitan area. So with the Sears in Media, Pennsylvania closing, the last non-liquidating Sears store outside of the Philadelphia metropolitan area, or within the Philadelphia metropolitan area, is the Sears store at the Willow Grove Park Mall in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. And as we hit my home state of New Jersey, the next non-liquidating store we're going to hit is the Kmart store in Aveno, New Jersey, which is located in Middlesex County, New Jersey, just north of the Woodbridge Center Mall. And this Kmart store in Aveno, New Jersey is the only Kmart store to be opened 7 days a week. Again, this is the last Kmart store in central New Jersey and only Kmart store within the state of New Jersey to operate approximately 7 days a week. So that's a pretty cool fact about the Kmart store in Aveno, New Jersey. So as we go a little east, the next non-liquidating Sears store that we're going to hit is the Sears store at the Newport Center Mall in Jersey City, New Jersey. And that Sears store at the Newport Center Mall is the last Sears and Roebuck store, or Sears store rather, within the state of New Jersey, which is my home state, by the way. So, and as we move along, you will see that the Kmart that used to be near Astor Place is missing because it is now permanently closed. So that's the difference here. So the next neighborhood that we're going to hit in New York City is Brooklyn, and we have the Sears store in I believe this is in the Flatbush neighborhood of Brooklyn. And this is that Art De Facto store, and it's a freestanding store. And yes, there is a Kmart store within the lower level of this Sears and Roebuck store. However, the Kmart store at this Sears store is a Kmart department inside the Sears store, so it's not officially a Kmart store. So, and there's no debate on that. It's just not a Kmart store. It's a Kmart within, what's it called? within the store. So as we move out to Long Island, the only Sears store left on Long Island is at Sunrise Mall in Massapequa, New York, and apparently Sears is still sticking around at this one because I hear that the lease is super cheap. So they're not vacating this property yet. Again, the Sears store in Massapequa, New York is the last Sears store in Nassau County and the last Sears store on Long Island. So as we move along to the end of Long Island, we hit the Kmart store at the Bridgehampton Commons in Bridgehampton, New York. This Kmart in Bridgehampton Commons was known as the Martha Stewart Kmart, which I think because Martha Stewart probably had a home out in the Hamptons, so that's probably why it got its nickname, the Martha Stewart Kmart. But Martha Stewart's stuff is, I believe, now sold at Macy's, so I believe that contract with Martha Stewart and Kmart has been terminated, as I believe that's now at Macy's versus it being at Sears and Kmart. So again, this is the last Kmart on Long Island, and it's at the Bridgehampton Common Shopping Center in Bridgehampton, New York. So, and now we're going to take a quick boomerang trip because we still have to hit a couple more stores before we can end the rest of the stores. So we have the two Kmarts in the Bronx. And this is where inventory from Astor Place, I believe, is going. It's a split, I think, between the Kmart. This is the Kmart at the shops at Buccaneer in the Bronx. And by the way, this Kmart in the Bronx that's 2 levels. This is the last multi-level Kmart store officially in the United States. Given that the Kmart store in Astor Place is now closed, the Kmart in the Bronx is the last multi-level Kmart store in the Bronx. And I believe this Kmart has a Little Caesars as well. You know, the guy that does pizza. So this Kmart store is, once again, one of the last 2-level Kmart stores within the states of within the United States, rather. This is the last 2-level Kmart store within the state of New York. So, anyways, we'll move along here. So we'll move along to the Kmart store located at the Mall Bay Plaza in the Bronx. And this is the last 1-level Kmart store that also has Little Caesars, you know, the guy that does pizza, in the Bronx as well. So, and again, this is the last 1-level Kmart store in the New York City borough. Kmart in Brooklyn does not count. This is, again, the last 1-level Kmart store in the New York City borough, as the other Kmart store in the Bronx is 2 levels at Buccaneer. So as we move along up to Westchester County, we're going to hit actually, before we do that, let me actually go back to my home state of New Jersey. So this is the Kmart store, the other Kmart store in New Jersey that's not liquidating, and this is at the Westwood Plaza Shopping Center in Westwood, New Jersey. And this Kmart store is only allowed to operate 6 days a week because of the Bergen County blue laws that prevents all non-essential retailers from opening today. And today is actually a Sunday, so any non-essential retail in Bergen County, New Jersey, has to be closed. So this Kmart in Westwood, New Jersey, at the Westwood Plaza Shopping Center in Westwood, New Jersey, is the only Kmart today that is closed, which means 16 Kmarts are still opening today. This one is not because of the Bergen County blue laws. So as we go across the Hudson River, the next Kmart that we're going to hit is the Kmart store at the Crossroads Shopping Center in White Plains, New York. And this is the last Kmart store that looked like a Caldor, which was similar to what the one in West Orange used to be. And this Kmart, I believe, also too has a Little Caesars. One of the last 3, I believe, in the United States to have a Little Caesars. You know, the guy that does pizza. So again, definitely significant because it's the last Kmart store in the Hudson Valley region of New York State. And the last Sears store in the Hudson Valley region of New York State is located at the Newburgh Mall in Newburgh, New York. Apparently, they have to stay here until Sears finally says we're pulling the plug and we'll take the loss of this location, which they really need to close this location. I still don't know why this 1-level Sears store remains, but again, this is the Sears store at the Newburgh Mall in Newburgh, New York. They might close if the casino does come to the mall. I just don't see this Sears store sticking around for much longer at the Newburgh Mall in Newburgh, New York. Again, this is the last Sears store within the state of New York. So. And finally, we get to our very last Sears store within on the non-liquidating Sears and Kmart list. And this is the Sears store at the South Shore Plaza in Braintree, Massachusetts, last Transform Co. owned property in the the last Transform Co. owned property in the United States, the last Sears store rather within the state of Massachusetts. And yeah, because there's no more Kmarts, so this is the last Transform Co. owned property in Massachusetts and the last Sears store within the state of Massachusetts. So, anyways, guys, so that is the full map of all of the non-liquidating Sears and Kmart stores, the list and the map as of. I'm sorry, and we'll X out of there. So, anyway, so this is it, guys. These are all the non-liquidating Sears and Kmart stores as of Tuesday, July 13th. 2021. So, anyways, guys, thank you again for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section below. And again, all links will be located in the video description below. So, anyways, guys, thank you again for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this video, and that will be it.